G'day friends, welcome to today's video. I'm going to do a FAUXBONICHI weekly layout. This is my FAUXBONICHI, which if you don't know what that is, it's Hobonichi but fake. Well, I mean, how fake is it really? It is, it's totally fake. This is an MD paper journal. It's from the MD paper 10th anniversary collection. I have a set that comes in this curious little, what's it called? MDF? Plywood, maybe? I don't know. I'm not into carpentry, but it's a wooden little kind of, it's like its own box. I honestly don't know how to describe what I'm trying to talk about. I feel like it's the most simple thing to talk about, but I'm struggling. What is it? It's I almost said a housing unit. I almost said it was its own shelf. It's neither of those things. It's just a box. It's a box that's open, and basically all the journals are in there. But it's wooden, so it's very luxurious. And it came with 10 of the 10th anniversary notebooks, which are basically just your standard A5 MD paper notebooks, which are really, really great. Love working in them. But they have all these interesting different interiors. So there's this one that I'm working on is, I believe it was more for kind of like reference sketching or architecture or something, because the grid is super helpful if you're going to do anything where you need to work with perspective or you need to do something, any kind of realism. It's great to kind of have a grid because you can get a lot of scale and perspective going on. But the outside, like the right-hand margin and the footer, the bottom margin, is blank. So this kind of blue grid only goes across a rectangle, across the left-hand page and a bit of the right-hand page. So it's an interesting layout, and I think I just chose this one because last year I wanted to get on the FAUXBONICHI bandwagon. It's been around for years. People love it. People always talk about it. I'm always obsessed with looking at people's FAUXBONICHIs, which is essentially, if you don't even know what that is, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's a Japanese journal that is, sorry, I'm struggling with allergies over here. Welcome to spring! Spring plus 2 cats. I can barely see or breathe right now. The FAUXBONICHI is a Japanese journal, which is numbered, I think. There's a bunch of different versions as well, but people generally use it as kind of a planner or a way to document their life as it's, kind of moving through life. People draw in it, use stickers in it, washi tape. It's just another type of journal to document in, I guess. But whatever you use it for, a lot of people do use a Hobonichi. And being obsessed with Japan myself, it's always kind of lost on me why I never got into it or why I never decided that was for me. I think because I've been through some phases with my journaling. I kind of really started journaling, mixed media art journaling style stuff in 2015 is kind of when I picked it all up. But I've used Smashbooks before. I've done scrapbooking before. I've done, I've had a planner before for when I was, working. I've dabbled in all of this stuff. I just had no idea there was a world out there that was actually doing it. I kind of just thought I was this weird person that would just sit in my room and do it by myself. Also, because when I used to do it, I was on cruise ships and stuff. I didn't have Instagram on my cruise ship. Like, I wouldn't, to get the internet in the middle of the ocean costs about $50 a minute. So I just was never really going that deep into searching for other people doing it as well. It all just happened upon this massive world of planners and journals and, online scrapbooking and classes and all this stuff that I'm now such a part of. I only really happened upon in 2015. So it's been kind of a gradual but also super quick journey since then to explore, every different corner of it. And just when you think you found, something that you're in love with, you find 6 other things that you want to try, which is, I guess, the beauty of the whole thing, because it's taken my creativity to a bunch of different avenues and outlets, and I get to, flex on different parts of my curiosities. So I'm really all about it. It may feel, I feel like if some people are kind of tackling it that way, it may feel like a bit of guilt would creep in because you're abandoning your art journal, or you're abandoning your documenting, or now you're not scrapbooking this, and now you've lost on this. I don't tend to get so wrapped up in all of that. Sometimes, I guess, more the job component. Like, sorry, I'm trying to sneakily just dab my nose. I'm trying not to have a sneezing fit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe more the actual filming component and getting it onto social media. Sometimes I feel a little guilty in that respect because I feel like maybe if people really do like maybe the art journal that I'm working in, maybe they want to see more of that, but then I switch it up immediately and suddenly I'm becoming a planner girl. So it's like, you know, some of that thought goes through my head, but personally, for my own creative expression, I don't really care. I just like to be doing whatever I like to be doing. And I think this FAUXBONICHI weeks, you know, it came about because I wanted to get on the Hobonichi bandwagon, but I just thought I can't justify it because I've got so many beautiful journals just sitting here that haven't even been touched. And why would I buy another one to do what I could just do in one of those? But I said to myself, if you can do it well, like if you can keep up with documenting your weeks, which I hadn't done before, I hadn't tried to, you know, give little weekly summaries and recaps in a journal before. I don't even think I've really had a journal that I've specifically dedicated to something. I've tried in the past, but I got over it really quickly. But this has, maybe it hasn't. I was going to say, this has stayed just a weekly journal. It hasn't. I think I do have a weight loss tracker in here. But I'm kind of guessing that, like, weight loss you do check back in on kind of weekly. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll rip those pages out in the end. Because honestly, I can't take this journal to meet and greets or whatever. Because this is, those weight loss photos are rough. I had to put in the ones that would really spur me on to lose some weight. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to glue those pages together once I've finally lost the 600 pounds I've put on since I moved here. Anyway, moving on from that. The journal itself, I kind of just challenged myself, you know, keep up with the weekly spreads. If you do, you can get yourself a Hobonichi and, you know, your FOMO will disappear. Now, I kept working in it and I thought, you know what, I guess I don't need the Hobonichi. I mean, it's a cute idea. I would love to, you know, be involved. Sometimes I feel a little guilty tagging, you know, a Hobonichi because it's a brand that I enjoy, you know, looking at and browsing on Instagram, definitely getting lost in a few Hobo vortexes, but I don't actually own anything from Hobonichi. So I thought, well, you know, it's kind of wrong for me to keep tagging it. Even though I didn't do it often, it was like kind of tagging it in this. These are the weird things that go through my head. I'm sure it really doesn't matter, and 10 times out of 10, I don't really care about it. But, you know, it does. It's a thought that goes through my head at some point, so I thought I'd share it with you. Anyway, I did end up purchasing a 5-year Hobonichi journal, which I figured I don't have anything else like that. I'm definitely not going to grab, you know, one of the spare journals on my shelf and turn it into a 5-year journal. So I could be a part of the Hobo people, but I didn't have to, you know, buy something that I felt like I would be guilty for buying. So it all kind of worked out in the end, and I guess all of that to say, I've kept working in it. I have actually kept up. Some weeks I've merged into a couple of weeks together, especially if it got super busy, and then some events have their own special double spread, like Creativation has its own spread. When I went to Art Journaling the Magic at Disneyland, that has its own spread. When I launched my Whimsical Illustration online course, that has its own spread. And so I've just been really experimenting with different weekly documenting styles. Some is just your classic tip-ins, ticket stubs, ephemera, drawings, paintings, washi, stickers, photos, whatever you can get in there. Some of those are just very that. And some of them are fully illustrated and painted, and you know, or I use my alcohol markers. In this particular journal, I do skip every other page so that I can use my alcohol markers. So the spread before this is actually all done with alcohol markers, so it bled completely through. So what I end up doing is skipping every other page and then gluing them together. So it flows through like a normal book, but it feels like the pages are a lot thicker, and that's just because there are 2 pages stuck together every time you flip it. And I said at the beginning, I feel like people would be upset that might seem very wasteful, and that I didn't really care because it was my journal. I was going to do what I wanted to do anyway. Honestly, nothing's changed. No, no one actually ever said that it was wasteful, so now I'm confused as to whether people would care about that or not. Maybe I just read everybody very wrong, but it certainly did cross my mind. I felt a little guilty for that, so I don't know if other people feel guilty for that, or maybe I'm just a crazy person for even thinking it. But all of that to say, it has really come in handy because the spreads just look a lot more clean. I'm not fighting the ghosting or the bleed through from the other side. I can just start fresh every single time. And I think that has really encouraged me to keep going with it because, pardon me, my nose is literally trying to leave my face right now. Oh, goodness me. This is terrible. So I don't know if that maybe had a lot to do with why I keep going in it and why I feel really good about it. I think also setting myself up for a really realistic expectation was pretty good. I always encourage people to do that. Just be honest with yourself. If you're not going to do every week, don't set yourself out to do every week and kill yourself if you don't. You know, kind of recognize your limitations a little bit. I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the more honest you are with your limitations, I think the more helpful it is actually in stretching yourself beyond there, because you have to really know where you're at to know where you can push yourself to. So I knew from the beginning that I wanted to do weekly spreads, but if I missed a week, I could double it up, or if I just gave up on a week completely, it would be fine. I could start again the next week. And I think that has really worked for me. I think also I feel less guilty because having the 5-year journal, I have a daily documentation going in there. And this weekly spread is essentially 7 daily documentations. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm documenting different things in each, but there's no set reason for it. It's almost like, you know, whichever journal catches me at whatever mood is whatever's going to fit in there. Nothing overtly personal, and that's purely because a lot of this still ends up online, and I just don't need everyone knowing my personal business. Which is, you know, it's kind of upsetting sometimes. I have to say more recently, I've been tempted to put things of a more personal nature in there, but I just, you know, when I think about the pros and cons, the cons just really outweigh the pros, and there's nothing wrong with me going to a different journal and just putting it out in there. But sometimes, you know, if I create a really beautiful spread, you know, I want to put super meaningful stuff in there, and I'm happy to share the things that are, you know, that are just deep and thoughtful, but you know, there's nothing sad. I can't ever put anything sad or angry or aggressive in there, because I feel like that is, you know, that's an unsafe thing to do, putting that out online. For me, I think everyone's different. I think some people can really do that and feel okay with that. I can't feel okay with that, and I just think that's just the way I am, and that's just the kind of private person that I am. But yeah, it's something that does run through my head, because I don't want people to think that I never attack those kinds of things. There are definitely moments where I go a lot deeper than what you've seen, you know, cotton candy pink and cute little drawings everywhere. Like, there are moments where I go super deep, and it's, you know, it's the good old type of journaling where you don't even need any color in there. It's just words that just like spill out of your head, and, you know, pardon me. Oh, I'm losing it. So yeah, there are definitely times where I go a lot deeper, and it's not going to be in my FAUXBO weeks. Although this week, not going to lie, I have been expressing a few little frustrations, and more at myself really than anything. I've noticed lately, and a super weird tangent, but I've been feeling extremely guilty for taking a bit of a rest, and especially after I launched my course. Like, that course was so many hours that went into that. Like, it was, I'm not even joking, once I had finished it and I'd gone through the whole thing and done the course, I started crying like a baby. You know, when you're so tired that you just cry? I literally was at my desk, and I had pulled an all-nighter. I was up until maybe like 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, the dusk was coming. Was it dusk? The dawn. The dawn was coming up, and I just started crying. And so it was super exhausting. I took a little bit of time off after that, but at the same time, I had to be very on top of how everyone was going, if people were getting into their course properly, and if, you know, there were any admin stuff, emails I had to deal with. So I actually couldn't take a break immediately. And then once I could, I felt like my whole body just shut down and was like, you need to stop. And so I did. I took a little bit of a rest, and still working here and there, doing my bits and pieces. I had all my accounting and bookkeeping to do, renewing my green card. Like, I definitely had stuff to keep me super busy. But I don't know, just stepping a little bit away from social media, even if you've noticed that I haven't been posting every single day, or doing as many Insta stories as I typically would, and I haven't been live in a little bit. But that's been making me feel super guilty, and to the point where I can't even enjoy the rest that I'm having because I feel guilty for resting. And I know that's just a thought process that I need to get out of, and that is a thought process that I think I've just developed over time to keep me working, because I'm very polar opposite extremes. I'm either working super crazy hours or not at all. Like, I don't know a healthy middle ground. So I guess I'm trying to learn that, but in the meantime, my brain has been fighting me with it. And so I've just been really annoyed about that. And that's something that I've journaled more recently. And I think that is as deep as I would probably go on social media. Or things about family. Like, I've definitely journaled about Gran before, and you know, certain family things that are sentimental to me. But yeah, aggressive, personal, you know, relationship stuff. Like, I would never document any of that online, and that's just how I am. But I do appreciate people that can be that vulnerable and open and honest. I think it all comes back to how much you can deal with um, people's reactions to that, and I'm just not. I'm not very good at hearing people's opinions about those things, because there are already things that make me, you know, obviously feel very emotional or aggressive. So then to have another input that might exacerbate, that's the what I want to say? Probably not. That might inflate those feelings of anger or upset. You know, it seems dangerous for me to do. So why did I get on that tangent? So weird. Anyway, so this is the week spread. I've drawn all my little people around it. This, if these illustrations look familiar, I have posted on this on Instagram. Just before I go to Japan, I'm supposed to receive my next stamp set, which is a 2x6 called Corner Pieces. Those little stickers, little transparent stickers you saw me burnish into the page just before, those are the actual size that I sent off for manufacturing. And so I'm really excited to see them. They were specifically designed for a planner people. I've just thought more recently how I could, selfishly, design products for my other types of, you know, creative outlets. And since I have been so into planning and you know, documenting these weekly spreads, and even working in my 5-year Hobonichi journal, which is an A6, is it? That's a small size, right? I think it's A6. It's such a small size, I wanted to create something smaller that would work well with planners, bullet journals, you know, specifically my 5-year Hobonichi, postcards even. So I created corner pieces, which are just these little dolls that kind of, you know, they lay on top of things. There's flat lines, and then there's these right angles. My goodness, my nose is going again. I'm so annoyed. Excuse me. So yeah, I wanted to do these so that I could decorate, you know, the side of, you know, the margin of my page, or I could have one sitting on top of a stamp on a postcard, or I could have one just, I don't know, lying down in the middle of a page of writing, just sitting there. So yeah, they're straight lines, and then they're right angles. I have had suggestions already to make, which is so funny to me. First of all, thank you for believing in it before it's even out there. But to do men, which I did draw one of the men there. That is not the kind of, you know, that's not the proportion that I would go with, but I thought I'll give it a go. I'll see if I can draw a man. To do a men's set, and to do a set that is arched, like, so not angled pieces, as in straight lines and right angles, to do curved pieces that would form, because essentially you could put a few of these together and make a square, like make a box or make a rectangle or make a shape, if you wanted to you know, stamp them together like that, or to make a circle, or you can make an oval, or I don't know. So I did sketch out a couple of those as well. If you would be interested in seeing either of those, just pop it in the comments below, because I do, I can kind of make anything I want to make happen. That's not to say it will happen, but I thought they were both good ideas. I'm personally more inclined to go with the men's set, just because, being a man, I still think there's a bit of a lack of men's products out there. And look, I know they don't sell well, but like I said, it's never really been about trying to sell $1 million worth of rubber stamps or photopolymer stamps. I want things that I want to play with and use, and hopefully I can get these out to you before I go to Japan. Maybe thinking about not closing the store, also not sure about that. Let me know in the comments below. If enough people say Steve should keep the store open, then might happen. Until next week, thank you so much for watching my FAUXBONICHI weekly layout spread. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're going well with all of your own hobos and phobos and journals and planners and diaries and loose piece of paper. Whatever you've got going on, I hope you're having a fabulous time with it. And I'll see you next week. Bye.